Akasakat Isha for managing the room and the music. Praise the Most High Yah. We'll continue where we left off. We're staying in chapter 1 of the book of Revelation. This is the third part of chapter 1 of the book of Revelation. And we stopped at verse 10, and I want to start at verse 9 and do verse 9 and 10 again, and then we'll go from there. Revelation chapter 1. We're going to start at verse 9 and go verse 9 and 10. I, Yakana, who also am your brother and companion in tribulation and in the kingdom and patience of Yahushua Messiah, was in the isle that is called Patmos for the word of Yahweh and for the testimony of Yahushua Mashiach. I was in the spirit on Adonai's day and heard behind me a great voice as of a trumpet. So let's stop right here. So we saw that Yochanan already explained in the introduction of this epistle, of this prophecy, how he's on the island of Patmos. And he's already explained that he's there now to get a word from the Most High Yah, and he's receiving this word from the Most High Yah through the testimony of Messiah. Okay, Messiah is given to us, the Hebrew Messiah given to the nation of Israel, his chosen people, as the word from the Father. He comes representing the Father's word. That's why he is called the Word made flesh. He's also called, as we look at the book of Malachi, the last book of the Old Testament, the book of Malachi, chapter 3, Malachi chapter 3, beginning at verse 1 and going down to verse 3. Malachi chapter 3, beginning at verse 1 and going down to verse 3, the scripture says, "Behold, I will send my messenger, and he shall prepare the way before me. And the master whom ye seek shall suddenly come to his temple, even the messenger of the covenant, whom ye delight in. Behold, he shall come, saith Yahweh of hosts. But who may abide in the day of his coming? And who shall stand when he appeareth? For he is like a refiner's fire, and like a fuller's soap. And he shall sit as a refiner and purifier of silver. And he shall purify the sons of Lewi, and purge them as gold and silver, that they may offer unto Yahweh an offering in righteousness." So he is called here. First, this prophecy is about the messenger, which was John the Baptist, also the 144,000. And then, of course, we're dealing with Messiah himself. And he calls him here the messenger of the covenant. Messenger of the covenant. The word messenger is interchangeable with the word angel. Angel of the covenant, messenger of the covenant. Messiah is the messenger of the covenant because he is a representation of the covenant. He is the physical manifestation of the written covenant. Okay? He is what it looks like lived out in a person. That is why the Bible says the word was made flesh and dwelt among us. It is the word of the Father made flesh. So the Messiah is a representation. He is always representing the Father. In fact, the Gospel of John, chapter 1, and verse 18. Notice what it says, Gospel of John, or Gospel of Yochanan, chapter 1, verse 18. Gospel of John, chapter 1, verse 18. Notice what it says. "No man hath seen Yahweh at any time. The only begotten Son, which is in the bosom of the Father, he hath declared him." So the Father doesn't let people see him. The obvious reason is that what he said, no man can see me and live because of sin. But he has his Son represent him to the families of the earth. So here he has his Son representing him, and his Son comes, and the Gospel of John reveals the word was made flesh. And here in the book of Revelation, again, Messiah is representing the Father to the prophet here with the message from the Father that he received from the Father, the revelation of Yahushua Mashiach, which Yahweh gave unto him. So here he said he's on the island of Patmos, and he's there, and he's the brother of all of us who are in the kingdom and tribulation and patience of the Messiah, okay, being developed for the kingdom of righteousness, which is to come. And he was there for the word that is coming from the Father through his Son, who is the faithful witness. Okay? Testing 1, 2, 3. I want to make sure y'all can hear me. Testing 1, 2, 3. Now, this next part, very important. Verse 10. I was in the spirit on Yahweh's day and heard behind me a great voice as of a trumpet. That trumpet voice is very, very important. He heard a voice, and the voice sounded like a trumpet. Where do we see the trumpet voice? In other places, because the trumpet voice is important. Where do we see the trumpet voice in other places? Well, let's take a look at 1 Thessalonians chapter 4. 1 Thessalonians chapter 4. 1 Thessalonians 4. And this is regarding the resurrection. 1 Thessalonians chapter 4. But listen for the trumpet. 1 Thessalonians chapter 4, going to begin at verse 13 and go down to verse 18. Okay? And we're concentrating on verse 16. But I would not have you to be ignorant, brethren, concerning them which are asleep, that ye sorrow not, even as others which have no hope. For if we believe that Yahushua died and rose again, even so them also which sleep in Yahushua will Yahweh bring with him. For this we say unto you by the word of Yahweh, that we which are alive and remain unto the coming of the Master shall not prevent them which are asleep. Now look at verse 16. For Yahushua himself shall descend from heaven with a shout, with the voice of the archangel, and with the trump of Yahweh. And the dead in Messiah shall rise first. Then we which are alive and remain shall be caught up together with them in the clouds to meet Yahweh in the air, and so shall we ever be with Yahweh. Wherefore, comfort one another with these words. Notice what it said in verse 16. It's describing the sound that will be made at the return of Messiah. And it says himself, Yahushua himself shall descend from heaven with a shout. He's coming and he's making noise. He's not quiet. He's coming with a shout. And the voice of the shout is the voice of an archangel, and it's the trumpet. It's a trumpet sound. The voice of an archangel and trumpet. So his voice is the voice of an archangel. It's the voice of a trumpet sound. And it's loud. Where else have we seen that voice? Let's look at Exodus chapter 19. Exodus chapter 19. When the people were being prepared, the children of Israel, the children of the chosen man Israel, who was Jacob, his children who are the chosen people of the Most High Yah, his children are being prepared to meet with their Creator at Mount Sinai. They're being prepared to receive the covenant as a nation at Mount Sinai, as a nation. And let's look at Exodus chapter 19. And I'm going to start at verse, I'm going to start at verse 7. And I'm going to start at verse 7. We're going to go bit by bit down this. In fact, let's start at verse 1. Let's start at verse 1. I'm going to start at verse 1, and we're going to go bit by bit through the entire chapter of Exodus 19. Very important. So I want to take our time and go through this trumpet sound. Okay? Exodus 19, I'm going to start at verse 1 as we normally do on the Shabbat morning, and we're going to read to verse 6. In the 3rd month, when the children of Yashar were gone forth out of the land of Egypt, the same day they came into the wilderness of Sinai. For they were departed from Rephidim and were come to the desert of Sinai. Okay? And had pitched in the wilderness, and there Yashar camped before the mount. And Moses went up unto Elohim. And Yahweh called unto him out of the mountain, saying, Thus shalt thou say to the house of Yahweh, and tell the children of Yashar, ye have seen what I did unto the Mizraim, and how I bare you on eagle's wings, and brought you unto myself. Now therefore, if ye will obey my voice indeed, and keep my covenant, then ye shall be a peculiar treasure unto me above all people, for all the earth is mine. And ye shall be unto me a kingdom of priests and an holy nation. These are the words which thou shalt speak unto the children of Yasha'al. So now they're being prepared. They're being prepared to meet their creator while they yet live. They're being prepared to enter into covenant as a nation with the creator. You see, Abraham entered into the covenant. Noah entered into covenant. Adam entered into the covenant. Seth entered into the covenant. Hanok entered into the covenant. Yashak entered into the covenant. Yaakov entered into the covenant. Now his 12 sons entered into the covenant. Now as a nation, the children of the 12 tribes are going to enter into covenant with the creator. And he's explaining to them, you're going to be a nation of priests, a nation of kings. That's why Revelation said he has made us unto himself priests and kings. You shall be a nation of kingdom of priests, a holy nation. Okay? But you have to keep my covenant. For that to come to pass, you have to keep my covenant. Okay? Exodus chapter 19 from verse 7 down to verse 12. Exodus 19 from verse 7 down to verse 12. And Moses came and called for the elders of the people and laid before their faces all these words, which Yahweh commanded him. And all the people answered together and said, all that Yahweh hath spoken we will do. And Moses returned the words of the people unto Yahweh. And Yahweh said unto Moses, lo, I come unto thee in a thick cloud, that the people may hear when I speak with thee, and believe thee forever. And Moses told the words of the people unto Yahweh. And Yahweh said unto Moses, go unto the people and sanctify them today and tomorrow, and let them wash their clothes, and be ready against the third day. For the third day Yahweh will come down in the sight of all the people upon Mount Sinai. And thou shalt set bounds unto the people round about, saying, take heed to yourselves, that ye go not up into the mount, or touch the border of it. Whosoever toucheth the mount shall surely be put to death. So the Most High is preparing the people to meet with him. He's telling them to set bounds around the mountain, because he's telling them, I'm going to come down and you're going to hear me. I'm going to come down and you're going to hear my voice. I'm going to come down in a thick cloud and you're going to hear me. Okay? So he's telling Moses, tell people, wash their clothes, get themselves prepared to meet me at the Mount Sinai. I'm going to enter into covenant. It's a serious, solemn assembly. Okay? He's going to meet them at Mount Sinai, and he makes an announcement. I'm going to meet you here at Mount Sinai. Makes an announcement. It's not like he just randomly showed up. He's saying, I'm going to meet you here. And he had already told Moses, he said, this is the sign that, because Moses didn't believe that he was supposed to be the one to lead the people out. After a while, he started disbelieving what he had already known. And Most High said, this will be the sign. You're going to worship me on this mountain. You're going to come back here and you're going to worship me here. And this is what they did. This is the fulfillment of that. He said, so get the people ready. I'm going to show myself to them. And we're going to enter into covenant. And the people being ready said all that Yahweh said we're going to do. Okay? Ready to enter into covenant with the Most High, the Creator. Let's continue. Exodus chapter 19, from verse 13 down to verse 15. Exodus 19, from verse 13 to verse 15. There shall not an hand touch it, but he shall surely be stoned or shot through. Whether it be beast or man, it shall not live. When the trumpet soundeth long, they shall come up to the mount. And Moses went down from the mount unto the people, and sanctified the people, and they washed their clothes. And he said unto the people, be ready against the third day. Come not at your wives. What does he mean? Of course, he's saying, don't have sex with your wives over the next 3 days. You are going to be set apart and holy for this occasion. I need you to stay away from your wives. I need you to have your clothes washed. I need you to be mentally, spiritually, emotionally prepared. You're getting ready to enter into covenant with your Creator as a nation. Huh? Come not at your wives. Wash your clothes. That's the second time he told them to wash their clothes. Make sure you clean. Don't touch the mountain. Don't come near it. Set a border so that the people don't come near and break and get destroyed, because the holiness of the Most High Father is going to be on this mountain. Then he said to him, trumpet is going to sound. Well, who's going to blow the trumpet? Trumpet's going to sound. When you hear the trumpet, that's when it's coming. Okay? Warning, sound. The warning of the trumpet is giving the sound that the Father is going to be on that mountain. Okay, y'all following me so far? Y'all hear me? Testing 1, 2, 3. I want to make sure. So y'all hearing what I'm saying? Okay, so the Father getting ready to be on that mountain, and the trumpet is going to sound, making the announcement that the Father is going to be on that mountain. Okay, that trumpet. Okay, there it is. Let's continue. Exodus chapter 19, from verse 16. From verse 16 down to verse 19. Notice what it said. Exodus 19, from 16 to 19. And it came to pass on the third day in the morning that there were thunders and lightnings and a thick cloud upon the mount, and the voice of the trumpet exceeding loud, so that all the people that was in the camp trembled. And Moses brought forth the people out of the camp to meet with Yahweh, and they stood at the nether part of the mount. And Mount Sinai was all together on a smoke, because Yahweh descended upon it in fire, and the smoke thereof ascended as the smoke of a furnace, and the whole mount quaked greatly. And when the voice of the trumpet sounded long and waxed louder and louder, Moses spake, and Yahweh answered him by a voice. So there was a trumpet that was warning the people that my Father was coming on that mountain. Trumpet is going to tell us Messiah, his voice sounds like a trumpet. Therefore, I say unto you, it was Messiah that was there on Mount Sinai, warning the people of the nation of Israel that his Father was going to be on that mountain, and they need to be prepared because there he was coming. Okay? So Messiah didn't just exist when he came out the womb of Mary. The Bible tells us he is from everlasting. And he prayed to his Father that he should have the glory that he had with his Father before the earth was. So here he was here on Mount Sinai with his Father at the right hand of power. Hears, and they hear, what do they hear? They hear lightning and thunder, right? And a thick cloud. Well, where did we see that before? Gospel of John. Remember Gospel of John? The thunder came, and the voice said, I have both glorified it and will glorify it again. People say, I hear thunder, but others said it was the Father's voice. This is what he said. And Messiah said, this voice came not for my sake, but it came for you. Also, we know when they came on top of the mountain, Messiah, Yachanan, Yaakov, and Kapha, they came up on that mountain. And the cloud engulfed them. Wasn't there a cloud engulfed them? And the voice came out the cloud saying, this is my beloved son, hear him. That's the Father. Okay. So here on Mount Sinai, the Father making a grand entrance. And here he comes. And he tells them, don't touch this mountain. I'm getting ready to come down on this mountain. And he said, when you hear the sound of the trumpet, in other words, you hear my son giving the warning, get ready. Okay. There you go. Get ready. So the Father is getting ready to come on the mountain, and he's bringing Messiah to give the announcement. Now, Father, we know, did not show him himself. He did not show him himself because you can't see him and live. And also, he did not show him his body. Why? Because they would go ahead and make an idol out of it. Isn't that what Father said? That's what he says. Notice again, Deuteronomy chapter 4. Deuteronomy chapter 4, talking about this same event. Deuteronomy chapter 4. I'm going to begin Deuteronomy chapter 4, beginning at verse 8. Going to read from verse 8 down to verse 13. Deuteronomy chapter 4 from 8 to 13. Notice what it says. Moses is speaking to the nation of our fathers. What nation is there so great that has statutes and judgments so righteous as all this law which I have set before you this day? Only take heed to thyself and keep thy soul diligently, lest thou forget the things which thine eyes have seen, lest they depart from thy heart all the days of thy life. But teach them to thy sons and thy sons' sons, especially the day that thou stoodest before Yahweh thy Elohim in Oreb, when Yahweh said unto me, gather me the people together, and I will make them hear my words, that they may learn to fear me all the days that they shall live upon the earth, and that they may teach their children. And ye came near and stood under the mountain, and the mountain burned with fire unto the midst of heaven, and clouds and thick darkness. And Yahweh spake unto you out of the midst of the fire. Ye heard the voice of the words, but ye saw no similitude, only ye heard a voice. And he declared unto you his covenant, which he commanded you to perform, even 10 commandments. And he wrote them upon 2 tables of stone. There you go. Now, why didn't he let them see him, aside from the fact that they would be killed because you can't see him and live because of sin? Let's go from verse 14 down to verse 20. From verse 14 down to verse 20, Deuteronomy chapter 4, 14 to 20. Notice what he said. And Yahweh commanded me at that time to teach you statutes and judgments, that ye might do them in the land whither ye go over to possess it. Take ye therefore good heed unto yourselves, for ye saw no manner of similitude on the day that Yahweh spake unto you in Oreb out of the midst of the fire, lest ye should corrupt yourselves and make you a graven image, the similitude of any figure, the likeness of male or female, the likeness of any beast that is upon the earth, the likeness of any winged fowl that flieth in the air, the likeness of anything that creepeth on the ground, the likeness of any fish that is in the waters beneath the earth, lest thou shouldest lift up thine eyes unto heaven, and when thou seest the sun and the moon and the stars, and even all the host of heaven, shouldest be driven to worship them and serve them, which Yahweh thy Elohim hath divided unto all nations under the whole heaven. But Yahweh hath taken you and brought you forth out of the iron furnace, even out of Egypt, to be unto him a people of inheritance, as ye are this day. So he purposely didn't let them see him, because he did not want them creating any image and worshiping it, because that's what we do, isn't it? That's what we do as human beings, isn't it? We like to worship images. We like to make things into gods. Isn't that what we do? Tell the truth now. That's why the Most High give us his covenant. The first one is, thou shalt have no other gods before me. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image, not no cross, not no church, not no pictures of white Jesus or black Jesus. You shall make no image of anything that is in heaven or on the earth or underneath the earth. It's the first commandment. No other gods but him. And second one, no images of any gods. That's right. So he allows the Son to represent him. And the Son is representing him as in the book of Revelation as our high priest. And the Son is giving to us in the book of Revelation a message from the Father. And his voice sounds like what? A trumpet. That's exactly what you would expect, isn't it? That's what we saw on Mount Sinai. That's what the Apostle Shaul said was going to come when he returns the second time. And here we are in the book of Revelation, voice of a trumpet. It's Messiah. And he's revealing to us a word from the Father. Praise the Most High. Now, when the Father himself talks, you're going to see lightning. You're going to hear lightning and thundering. You're going to see earthquake. You're going to see hail when the Father himself talks. You're going to see thick clouds, darkness when the Father talks. That's right. It's power. That's right, brother. It's power. That's right, That's right. So now, Yochanan, back to the book of Revelation, chapter 1. Yochanan is on the island of Patmos, and he hears Messiah's voice behind him. Messiah, the sound of the trumpet. And he's turning to hear the voice because his back is to the voice. See? Notice he said he was in the spirit and he heard a voice behind him. Revelation chapter 1, verse 10. I was in the spirit on Yahweh's day, and I heard behind me, a great voice as of a trumpet. Following me? A great voice behind me. So he's standing on an island. He's on a beachhead, and behind him is a voice, and he turns to see where this trumpet voice is coming from. What's the first thing he's hearing? First, he's hearing the voice is saying something. Notice what it's saying. Revelation chapter 1 and verse 11. Revelation chapter 1 in verse 11. Notice what it's saying. Saying, I am Alpha and Omega, the first and the last. And what thou seest, write in the book, and send it unto the 7 churches which are in Asia, unto Ephesus, and unto Smyrna, and unto Pergamos, and unto Thyatira, and unto Sardis, and unto Philadelphia, and unto Laodicea. So he's saying, he's hearing this voice behind him. It sounds like a trumpet, and this is what it's saying. I'm Alpha and Omega. Why is Messiah saying I'm Alpha and Omega? Because he's representing his Father. He came there to get the word of the Yahweh and the testimony of Yahushua. So here's Yahushua testifying as to the Father and his word. Praise the Most High Yah. You're following me so far. It's not confusing. People try to make it confusing, but it's very simple, really. Very simple. Praise the Most High Yah. So now, John, he hears this voice saying these things behind him. So obviously it's natural. He's going to turn and he's going to see where is this voice coming from? What is behind me? So he turns, and the first thing he sees that he records is verse 12. Verse 12. Revelation chapter 1, verse 12. The first thing he sees, which he writes down. He records. And I turned to see the voice that spake with me, and being turned, I saw 7 golden candlesticks. First thing he saw. Why is that the first thing Messiah wanted him to see? Why is that the first thing Messiah wanted him to record? The 7 golden candlesticks. And that's why we went through a couple of sessions here. We went through understanding the sanctuary, the furniture of the sanctuary, the compartments of the sanctuary, and what the compartments mean, and how the high priest interacts in that sanctuary. The first thing he sees, 7 golden candlesticks. He's letting us know he's in the tabernacle. He's in the first apartment, the first section of the tabernacle. Messiah is not at this point in the most holy place. As you can see, he's in the holy place, the first tabernacle. Everybody got that? Yeah, that's why we spent so much time going through Hebrews. We went through Leviticus. We went spend so much time on this because I want y'all to get this, because this is important. The whole thing is in the sanctuary. And again, I just want to reiterate why. Why is it in the sanctuary? Number one, because that's where Messiah is on our behalf. Number two, is from that sanctuary, through the Messiah, that the Father will take sin from off of all his people. He will take sin from off of all his people. And he's being shown the place that's in heaven. He's being shown that. Okay. And it's for sin to be taken off of his chosen people. That's what this whole sanctuary system is about. It's about removing sin from us and replacing the sin with righteousness. Okay. All right. And so now he turns, this voice is saying to him, I'm Alpha and Omega, beginning and what thou seest, write in the book, send it to these 7 churches, which are in Asia, which is modern day Turkey. And so all these places were in Asia Minor, which is modern day Turkey. And he's telling him, send this message to them. And this is 7, representing all of his people to the end of time, from the beginning of the Messiah's advent to the end of time, 1st century, all the way until the end. When I say the end of time, I mean the end of time as we count it. That's what I mean when I say the end of time. Let me make sure I explain that, because now everything is counted by time, right? You have a clock, and the clock tells you how many minutes, how many seconds, how many hours go by. And every time some time passes, right? Like, you can't bring it back. Like, I can't bring back an hour ago. It's gone forever. Right? And why is that? Why is that? Because time is passing. It's a sign. Time itself is a sign that this whole thing is temporary. You understand? Time itself is a sign that the whole thing is temporary. Years are going by. Months are going by. Winter and spring and summer and fall is going by. And it's showing us this whole situation is temporary. And there's going to come an end to it. And so this 7 churches representing from when Messiah first come here as a man until when time is over. When time is over. because time is the countdown of sin's life. Sin will no longer exist. Time is the countdown of the devil's life. The devil will no longer exist when it's all said and done. There'll be nothing but an atmosphere of righteousness in the kingdom of the Most High Yah and of his son Yahushua. So he says, send this to the 7 churches, and he turned to speak with him, and he sees the 7 golden candlesticks, and he sees Messiah in the 7 golden candlesticks in the holy place of the heavenly sanctuary. And he's showing him, this is where all your sins going to be removed for you and your brethren. This is where all the righteousness is going to be placed on you. This is where I'm going to grant you the righteousness. You're borrowing it now, brother, and I'm going to let you borrow it, but you're going to keep borrowing until the day I grant it to you. And then it's going to be yours forever. This is the place that this is happening. Right here. And where these 7 golden candlesticks are. Praise the Most High. Let's continue now. So he sees the first thing, the 7 golden candlesticks. Then he's going to notice our Messiah, the Messiah of the nation of Israel, the chosen people's Hebrew Messiah. He's going to notice him in the midst of the 7 candlesticks. Notice what it says. Revelation, I'm going to read verse 12 again, but this time I'm going to go down from verse 12 down to verse 15. From 12 to 15, notice what it said. And I turned to see the voice that spake with me, and being turned, I saw 7 golden candlesticks. And in the midst of the 7 candlesticks, one like unto the Son of Man, clothed with a garment down to the foot, and girt about the paps with a golden girdle. His head and his hairs were white like wool, as white as snow. And his eyes were as the flame of fire, and his feet like unto fine brass, as if they burned in a furnace, and his voice as the sound of many waters. There's another section of his voice, you see. So you also have the sound of many waters. You have the trumpet sound when he's about to announce something, and then you have the sound of many waters when he's getting ready to talk with you. You understand? Testing 1, 2, 3. So when he's getting ready to announce the Father, there's the trumpet. When he's now giving you a message of truth and righteousness, and he's talking to you, there's the sound of many waters. That's a peaceful sound. Sound of many waters. He's a peaceful voice when he comes. He's a peaceful sound. Praise the Most High Yah. So his head and his hair is white like wool. Wool. Sin flame of fire is his eyes. Feet like fine brass. Burned brass. Like a penny. Like it's brown. Like we know he's a brown person with white hair and powerful eyes. Yes, but we shouldn't make any pictures of him because that would be idolatry. But just to let y'all know, the people that are brown on this earth, that have been slaved on this earth, that have been despised on this earth and continue to be, they are in the image of the Son of the Most High Yah. That's interesting. Interesting. Praise the Most High Yah. So now you see he's in the holy place. And he's in priestly clothing. Why? Because he is Messiah, that is, the high priest, right? He's our high priest. And so he's there interceding on behalf of his people. And he's there interceding for the purpose, and I'm going to keep putting this because this is justification by faith. He's there for the purpose of removing sin from his people, that we might render unto him an offering in righteousness, as we read earlier, that we might render unto him perfect obedience. That's right. After the order of Malach Sadak, the king of righteousness. Praise the Most High Yah. He's there interceding for his people, that sin will be taken off of us and placed on the scapegoat, and righteousness, the Most High's righteousness that he had given to our father Adam, that Adam had forsaken because of his rebellion against our Creator. We're going to put that righteousness back on us. Praise the Most High Yah. We cannot earn the righteousness. We cannot earn it. There's no good thing that we could ever do to receive of that righteousness. Well, let me ask you a question. When Adam was created with it, did he earn it? Did Adam somehow earn the right to be created with the Creator's righteousness? Did he earn it? No, it was given to him upon his creation. The breath that was breathed into him, that holy breath, he did not earn the right to have that breath. It was given to him as a gift. And he was commanded, once he received that breath, he was commanded to be obedient to his creator, wasn't he? And that's exactly what happens to you and I. We have received the gift as an act of grace. We receive righteousness from the Father. And as a result of that righteousness, we are obedient to the Most High Yah. You following me? That's how it works. That's why we are saved by grace. That's the first thing we receive, the righteousness of the Spirit of our Father. We are convicted by that Spirit. We are convicted. He's tapping us on the shoulder. And he's trying to convict us. And he's trying to say, what you're doing is wrong, sister. What you're doing is wrong, brother. You in the wrong way. You know you walking in the wrong direction. And then when we respond to that, we say, yes, we're walking in the wrong direction. Please save me from walking in this wrong direction. What can I do? And then he puts more of his Spirit. He said, come to me, my daughter. Come to me, my son. And you say, okay, I'm going to come. I want to do the right thing. And his Spirit come on. And you're wearing a righteous coat that you did not earn. And all of a sudden, you used to drink and you used to smoke and you used to fornicate. And all of a sudden you say, I don't want to do those things anymore. I have no desire to do them now. Why? Why is it? And your friends say, something happened to you. Something's wrong with you. Something's going on. What happened? You're wearing a coat of righteousness and you don't have a taste for the stuff that you had before. Praise the Most High, Yah. Most High puts this big old coat on you, right? It's a big old coat because it covers you. And you say, man, this coat too big. And you say, that's all right. I'm gonna feed you with rice. I'm gonna feed you with my word. I'm gonna feed you with my Spirit. And I'm gonna cause you to grow in that coat. And you keep growing. You don't even recognize it. It's like when you were a little boy, you know, you got some pants, right? Then one day you put the pants on. Now you put the pants on all the time, right? And one day you put the pants on, all of a sudden they high waters. You know what I mean when I say high waters, right? All of a sudden you put the pants on, they used to fit you perfectly, but now they high waters. What happened? You just grew. You realize you just grew. Now the pants too small. You just grew. And that's what he's doing. He's feeding us with his righteousness as we allow him to, feeding us with his Spirit, feeding us with his word. And the day's going to come. We're not going to realize it. All of a sudden, he's going to look down and he's going to say, hey, that coat ain't too big on you no more. That coat fits you perfectly now. I tell you what, keep it. I'm giving it to you. It's yours. And that's what you call sealing. You are sealed at that point. Praise the Most High Yah. That's what he's doing. So he covers us with his coat. And the apostle describes it beautifully when he says in Philippians, notice again, Philippians chapter 3. Let's divert a minute because we got to keep this righteousness on this thing. Philippians chapter 3. Notice again, Philippians 3. See, this is not a theoretical discussion. This is a truth discussion. Notice Philippians chapter 3. I'm going to begin Philippians chapter 3. I'm going to begin. Oh, man, I don't even know. I'm going to start at verse 9. I'm going to start at verse 9 and go down to verse 12. Philippians chapter 3 from verse 9. Actually, from verse 9 to verse 14. From verse 9 to verse 14. Notice what it says. And be found in him, not having mine own righteousness, which is of the law, but that which is through the faith of Messiah, the righteousness which is of Yahweh by faith, that I may know him and the power of his resurrection and the fellowship of his sufferings, being made conformable unto his death, if by any means I might attain unto the resurrection of the dead, not as though I had already attained, either were already perfect, but I follow after. Check this out. If that I may apprehend that for which also I am apprehended of Messiah Yahushua. Brethren, I count not myself to have apprehended, but this one thing I do, forgetting those things which are behind and reaching forth unto those things which are before, I press toward the mark for the prize of the high calling of Yahweh in Messiah Yahushua. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. To apprehend that for which I am apprehended. You see, we are apprehended. We need to be apprehended means you are caught, right? Somebody say, I just apprehended the suspect. What's that mean? You just caught the suspect, right? So what does he mean? What is he apprehended of? The righteousness of the Most High has apprehended us. When we come to the Most High, his righteousness is be given to us. It's that big coat. It's apprehended us. So then he said, I have to apprehend that for which I am apprehended. What does that mean? I got to grow up into this coat, man. It's too big. And he's covering me with his righteousness. I got to apprehend that for which I am apprehended. And I press toward it. Praise the Most High. Yeah, I press toward it. The mark of the prize of the high calling of Yahweh in Messiah. Messiah is a representation of what we're supposed to become. We're supposed to become like him, that he might be the firstborn among many brethren. That's the object. Praise the Most High. That he might be the firstborn among many brethren. People that's like him. And he is the perfect manifestation of the Father. Praise the Most High. Isn't it beautiful? Like, it's like every star is different, but every star shines with the Father's glory. Isn't that right? So he said, your children, Abraham, going to be as the stars of heaven for multitude. Every star is beautiful, but every star is completely one of a kind. That's going to be us. Praise the Most High. Praise the Most High. Let us continue. So now, he sees Messiah. Back to Revelation chapter 1. He sees Messiah. And Messiah is the priest. He's doing his work. He's doing his work as our high priest, taking that sin off of us. He's in the holy place, which tells us, we know from our study of the sanctuary, eventually he's going to have to be in the most holy place. Isn't that right? For the sanctuary to be cleansed, he can't stay in the holy place. He got to end up in the most holy place, right? We know that's coming. So in the book of Revelation, you can and will see, you can expect to see Messiah transfer from the holy to the most holy. You're going to see it. I'm going to show you by the word of the Most High. He's going to show us. He's going to show us going from the first apartment where the candlestick is and to the second one where the Ark of the Covenant is. Oh, yeah. He's going to show us that. Praise the Most High. Yeah. And for that, we'll also need to divert into Daniel. We're going to need to divert into Daniel, which I'm going to do. After this chapter 1, we're going to take a little diversion into the book of Daniel. We're not going to study the whole book of Daniel, but we're going to take a little diversion into that book so that we understand things that's in Revelation. Daniel helps you understand Revelation, okay? As all the prophets, but Daniel in particular. So we're going to look at Daniel, okay? Praise the Most High, yeah. We're going to spend some time in Daniel, all right? Just letting y'all know. Don't get impatient with me now. I'm told you we're going to go into this thing like a fine-tooth comb. I wasn't joking. I did tell y'all that. I've been telling y'all that for months, haven't I? You know I've been telling the truth. I said we're going to go into this thing like a fine-tooth comb. I'm not playing. Okay. All right. So my wife over here. Stop laughing. All right. So let's go. Revelation chapter 1. Revelation chapter 1. Let's go to verse 16 and 17. Revelation chapter 1, verse 16 and 17. And he had in his right hand 7 stars. Uh-oh. And out of his mouth went a sharp 2-edged sword, and his countenance was as the sun shineth in his strength. And when I saw him, I fell at his feet as dead. And he laid his right hand upon me, saying unto me, fear not, I'm the first and the last. Oh man, this is sweet. Look. So he sees him, right? And when he's talking, he's like a sharp sword coming out of his mouth. Why is that? Because he's ready to cut. Yeah, he's ready to cut. So who he gonna cut? Well, he cutting everybody. He cutting me and you. And then then those that don't want to receive him, those that don't want to receive the truth, he gonna cut them down. And he don't have to do it with his hands. He does it with his mouth. Because why? Why? Because he got authority from the Father. And when he speaks, it gets done. That's power, bro. See, people on the earth try to act like they have power because they order this and they can order that, and they have people do things for them. That ain't like it. When the Father or the Messiah say something, man, boom, done. Okay, that's how this earth was created. He said, "Let there be." Boom, it's done. And you know, just as a, you know, I gotta show you all this, right? This is Psalms 50. Notice Psalms 50. This is powerful. Psalms 50. Psalms 50. Check this out. Check this out. As we giving glory to the Most High Yah. Psalms 50. Hold on, am I looking in the right place? Hold on. No. It's not Psalms 50. I'm sorry. It's not Psalms 50. Let me get my act together here. Excuse me, brothers and sisters. It's not Psalms 50. It's not Psalms 50. Hold on one second. It's not. Hold on. Bear with me 1 second. I got to get this. You know, sometimes this happens to me. I'm getting old, brothers and sisters. You know I am, right? So sometimes your brother, you know, you got to pray for him, man. You got to pray for him. Gotta pray for him. Anyway, it's in the Psalms, and I thought it was 50, but it's not 50. It's not 50. I think it might be 55. Let me just make sure here. No, it's not 55 either. Not 55 either. Hold on. People say, what is wrong with this guy? I'm just telling you, man. I'm just being real with you. I'm telling you what it is, right? Man, it's Psalm 33. I'm so silly. It's Psalm 33. Psalm 33. Psalm 33. Watch this. Psalm 33. Watch this. Psalm 33. Psalm 33. I got it. I know you there for me. Great sister Grace. I appreciate it. And you know what? I'll call upon you. You know I will too. But praise the Most High. I got it this time. Most High gave it to me. Psalm 33. Watch this now. Watch this. I'm going to read from verse 5 down to verse 9. Psalm 33 from verse 5 to 9. Check this out. Check out our Creator. From verse 5 to 9. He loveth righteousness and judgment. The earth is full of the goodness of Yahweh. By the word of Yahweh were the heavens made, and all the host of them by the breath of his mouth. He gathered the waters of the sea together as in heap. He layeth up the depth in storehouses. Let all the earth fear Yahweh. Let all the inhabitants of the world stand in awe of him. For he commanded, and it was done. For he spake, and it was done. He commanded, and it stood fast. He spake. Now that's power right there. That's power right there. He spake, and it was done. He commanded, and it stood fast. Now that's power right there. You see what I'm saying? That's power right there. That's he don't have to. Now that just goes to show you how important man is to him. You say, what you mean? I mean, it just goes to show because he spake everything into existence, like he just spoke it. But when it came to man, he didn't do that. When it came to man, he comes down and he personally makes man. Okay, he personally. It wasn't like he didn't have, like he could have spoken man and man could have existed, right? He could have did that. I mean, he did it with everything else, every other life form on the earth. That's why it's a real disgrace when people try to say we come from monkeys. It's a disgrace. He spoke monkeys into existence. He didn't speak man into existence. He didn't speak man into existence. He purposely formed man. Okay? He purposely formed man. Let me show you something else. Wait. So knowing that he spoke everything into existence, notice what it said. Job, chapter 38. Watch Job, or Job, chapter 38. When the Most High answered Job because he loves him. He loved him. Just like us, we got to go through the Job experience. You know, all of us getting ready to go through that, right? You're going to go through the trials of Job. We got to. That's part of our experience. That's why this book was written. So look, let's learn from Job. Look what it said. Job chapter 38 from verse 1 down to verse 7. Notice what it said. Then Yahweh answered Job out of the whirlwind and said, who is this that darkeneth counsel by words without knowledge? Gird up now thy loins like a man, for I will demand of thee, and answer thou me. Where wast thou when I laid the foundations of the earth? Declare if thou hast understanding. Who have laid the measures thereof, if thou know it? Or who have stretched the line upon it? Whereupon are the foundations thereof fastened? Or who have laid the cornerstone thereof? Check out verse 7 now. When the morning stars sang together and all the sons of Yahweh shouted for joy. What is that? He stood out there in the middle of space And he said, let there be light. Boom. And when it appeared, all the sons of Shah, all the angels were shouting for joy. He said, let there be water. Let there be land come up out the water. Let there be flowers come up out the water, out the land. Let there be trees, and let the trees grow fruit on it. And boy, when it was just exploding into existence, all of the angels are shouting because they're just watching this. Can you imagine watching that? And then all of a sudden he said, let there be moon and stars, and boom, there they are. And there they are around the earth. And he just spoke it and it came. And they just shout. They just yelling. They can't believe what they're seeing. He just stepped out on the middle of the middle of space, and he just started to speaking, and all of a sudden this stuff started coming. Then after he made all of that stuff, the sixth day, he comes down to the earth that he had made by speaking it into existence. He comes down here. This is Messiah now. He sent Messiah to do these things. He comes down here and he starts to form that dirt into something. They're watching him. He's forming the dirt, and all of a sudden it's into what appears to be something that looks like Messiah himself. And then he goes down and gives it mouth to mouth, and he breathes into it. And it comes alive. Imagine what they were shouting at that moment. It comes alive. This ain't no Frankenstein. This is the real deal. And it looks like him, and it's covered in light and covered in righteousness. And it's a man. He calls it Adam. And then he sits there with Adam, and he shows Adam everything he's created. And he say, Adam, whatever you name it is what it's going to be named. And Adam starts to name it. But Adam is noticing that every animal that he's naming, right, there's two species. There's a male that got something like what he got, and there's a female that doesn't. And he's like, okay, everything got something, but I ain't got that. But now, Creator puts him to sleep, and he's sleeping. And he take one of his ribs out, and he creates a woman out of the rib of that man. And he presents her. This is now bone of your bone and flesh of your flesh. This is your partner right here. That's right. So the woman was made in the image of the man, and the man was made in the image of the Most High. And together they're called mankind. Praise the Most High, Yah. Adam. Okay, so now back to Revelation. So this is what John was dealing with when he fell as one dead. Praise the Most High. We're gonna see Daniel do the same thing when we look at Daniel. That's right. That's right, Walker. That's exactly right. In the Messiah, they're your heads in Messiah. If they're not in Messiah, then you got a head that might be Asatan, because that's a different story. Let's continue. Revelation chapter 1. From verse 18 to verse 20, let's finish the chapter. Revelation chapter 1, from verse 18 to verse 20. I am he, saith Messiah, that liveth and was dead. And behold, I am alive evermore. Amen. And have the keys of hell and of death. Write the things which thou hast seen, and the things which are, and the things which shall be hereafter. The mystery of the 7 stars which thou sawest in my right hand, and the 7 golden candlesticks. The 7 stars are the 7 angels to the 7 churches, and the 7 candlesticks which thou sawest are the 7 churches. Let's go into this now. 7, perfect number, represents his chosen people throughout all of time, from the beginning of Messiah's advent to the end of time, where we live now. And the 7 stars are representative of the 7 messengers or angels to those churches, so that in every age there's a special message. There's a message given to every age of people, to every group in the time period. Okay, we are part of the awakening. Prior to us, people were in Christianity. They were confused. They were not understanding what we understand now. This is the message. The angel to the church where we live now is giving us this message of the awakening. Y'all follow me? Testing 1, 2, 3. So each age had a message. And we have a message. And we're going to go into our message, but we're going to go into all 7. Because let me tell you something. As you get close to the end, all the messages come together. Because it's perfect. And they all come together in the 6th and 7th message. We're going to read about that. But also he gives us the 3 time periods of the book of Revelation. He said, write the things which thou hast seen, and the things which are, and the things which shall be hereafter. The things which thou hast seen, past. The things which are, present. The things which shall be hereafter, future. So that in every day that which we live, there's something from the book of Revelation that has already happened. There's something from the book of Revelation that is happening as we speak. And there's something from the book of Revelation that is yet to happen. 3 time periods all the time. Perfect 7 also. Praise the Most High. So that you have 3 time periods, past, present, and future. That's why people say, well, Revelation hasn't been fulfilled yet. We're not there. That's in the future. That's a lie. Because there's parts of Revelation that's already passed. There's parts of Revelation going on right now, and there's parts of Revelation that's yet to come. And we need to know the difference as his true people. Praise the Most High Yah. And he's going to show us, because he reveals his secrets to his servants, the prophets. He's not going to keep anything from us. Praise the Most High. Those of us that love truth, he will reveal himself and his truth to us. Those of us that have other agendas, you're not going to get this. What I mean by say other agenda, like you trying to give glory to some man's denomination, some man's church, because your granddaddy was in it. You ain't gonna catch this. This ain't about that. You want to use this to make yourself your own church and get disciples and get money. You ain't gonna catch this. This ain't about that. This is about the Most High in the sanctuary with the Messiah, preparing the people to reflect perfectly his righteousness, his spirit, his truth. As the Bible says, righteousness and true holiness. This is what this is about. That's all it's about. And the glory of our Father. See? So each time period has a message given to it. It's going to be summated in the 7th church. And then you're going to have also 7 candlesticks, which are the 7 churches. The 7 candlesticks represent the 7 assemblies of his chosen people throughout history. Okay? 7 messages, 7 churches, 7 spirits before his throne, perfection. All Israel shall be saved. Isn't that what the apostle said? All Israel shall be saved. Praise the Most High Yah. Let's stop here. Let's have a word of prayer. We'll continue in chapter 2. Well, actually, we won't be doing chapter 2 next. We're going to divert into Daniel for a minute, and then we're going to come back to chapter 2. All right? So